I'll start by saying Bethesda has always been one of my favourite companies in the games industry, but I don't know if I can say that anymore. I've been playing BGS titles as far back as Morrowind, and I've sunk thousands of hours into their games. I love the vast open worlds they create, the rich lore and story that these worlds contain, the freedom they've allowed players in the past in terms of creating and defining who and what you are when exploring these worlds. And most of all, I love the longevity that the modding community has given these games. Over the years, I've seen a company that has such passion for the games they make, titles like Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and Fallout 3. But I've also seen greed slowly take hold and year by year corrode and corrupt what Bethesda games are and could have been. This has come to a point with the recent release of Fallout 76. Today, I want to share my thoughts and discuss past and current events and give my opinion on where Bethesda have gone wrong and what they can do moving forward to fix their standing with the community. The first warning sign I can remember, which at the time seemed more like an innocent blunder, was the release of the $2 Horse Armor DLC for Oblivion in April 2006. At the time, there was controversy surrounding this. Players did not like the idea of paying for something so trivial when they could generally get access to high-quality mods for free. I think this controversy was a good thing, because it seemed Bethesda listened and were inspired to create more interesting and complex DLC, which in turn led to the development and release of the Knights of the Nine later that year, and then the Shivering Isles in 2007, an expansion that was much loved by the Elder Scrolls community. This trend continued with the release of Fallout 3 in 2008, an enjoyable game with decent DLC content. This was my introduction to the Fallout franchise, and I loved it. Obsidian built on Bethesda's foundation with the release of Fallout New Vegas in 2010. This title is often considered the best first-person, third-person Fallout RPG, and for good reason. It added depth to the role-playing elements and was full of interesting characters, factions, and stories. Across all of these titles, the modding community created an array of content and provided various bug fixes, only adding to the lifespan of these games. With the release of Skyrim in 2011 and then its DLCs, I began to notice the casualization of Bethesda's games. But I will admit that I did enjoy being able to have my character learn any and all skills. It did add a certain freedom, but also removed much of the enjoyment that comes from multiple playthroughs and defining a different character each time. I also took note of Bethesda taking inspiration from and incorporating aspects of mods I played in previous titles. The popularity of Skyrim led to a rich and expansive modding community. It was fantastic to see just how much this community had grown, and it was this community that kept the game alive year after year. It was in 2015, with a poor attempt at a paid mod system for Skyrim on the Steam Workshop, that greed showed itself once again. The announcement of paid mods led to outrage in the community. Players were not willing to pay for content when similar options were available for free elsewhere, and within a week, the paid mod system was gone. I think it's important that I mention here that I believe mod authors being supported for their hard work is well deserved, and one good thing that came out of this was the implementation of a donation button on the Nexus website. This gave users who were able the easy option to donate to mod authors whose work they thought was deserving of such support. Later, in 2015, Fallout 4 was released. Once again, Bethesda had simplified the in-game systems to appeal to a broader audience. One notable improvement, however, was the gunplay, which was far superior to previous titles. Fallout 4's DLC released over the course of 2016 and was a mixed bag, some players regretting their purchase of the Season Pass. And once again, it was the modding community that kept this game alive and fixed numerous bugs. When I heard the announcement of the Creation Club in 2017, I was excited about what it could be and what it could allow modders to create. My ideal creation club was a platform that would allow the release of mini expansions, exciting new lands and quest lines created by experienced modders with financial backing and quality assurance from Bethesda developers. I would eagerly have paid $5 to $10 for each piece of content like this. However, I knew it was far more likely that we would get something akin to the paid mods attempt we had seen before, and unfortunately, I wasn't wrong. $5 armors that were available at a high quality elsewhere for free. A shady Creation Club currency forcing users to pay $10 to get something that was priced at $7. No substantial content worth the price tag, just numerous redundant cosmetics. The only thing I got from the Creation Club was a broken Fallout 4. Each Creation Club update led to a Fallout 4 update, which in turn broke the Fallout 4 script extender. Yes, there were ways to fix this issue. However, something that could have elevated the modding community and the scope of the mods we'd see instead only hindered it and created annoyance for a large number of players. And now we come to Fallout 76. I was excited from the moment I saw the teaser trailer, and when they gave more information at E3, I considered placing my pre-order. I had my worries, having seen various attempts at multiplayer mods for BGS titles in the past, but knowing that this was Bethesda making their own multiplayer title gave me some hope. I held off on pre-ordering, and I'm glad that I did. From the start of the beta right up until now, I've seen the shit show that Fallout 76 has been, and with each new piece of controversy that I witness, my love for Bethesda and the games they make slowly but surely fades. Pre-order to get access to a beta 2 weeks before launch. It wasn't a beta at all, merely a tactic to get the pre-orders rolling. Pay $60 to play our game that is in a state akin to a $10 early access Steam title. Speaking of Steam, we won't be releasing our game on Steam because then it would be too easy for you to get a refund. I haven't played Fallout 76, and to be honest, I'm sure that I would enjoy it, and I would forgive them for the bugs, however horrendous they might be. I hope that 6 months from now, the game is in a reasonable state, and maybe I'll pick it up then, if Bethesda has changed their attitude towards consumers. But where I draw the line is refusing refunds, charging players $60, now $35, to play a game that appears to be in an alpha state, and to then attempt to sell them items they had access to for free in Fallout 4. Strangely enough, from what I've seen and heard, the microtransactions are the one part of Fallout 76 that is working as intended. This game is a poor attempt at games as a service, and the microtransactions are insulting. And on top of all of this is the canvas bag controversy, which is straight up false advertising, and one of the things that annoys me the most. Bethesda's most loyal fans paid $200 for a special edition, and one of the items advertised, a canvas carrying bag for your power armor helmet, was in fact a cheap nylon bag. When players raised the canvas bag issue with Bethesda, their responses as to why the replacement happened were poor, to say the least, and do not justify how they treated consumers. Further adding to this, Bethesda had distributed some decent bags appearing to be made of a canvas-like material to various YouTube influencers who attended their Fallout 76 event. It appears that there is now a potential class action lawsuit being presented in relation to the refusal of refunds and the false advertising. To those upset fans that did not receive the advertised canvas bag, Bethesda has offered 500 atoms. $5 worth of their Fallout 76 microtransaction currency. Funnily enough, the in-game postman outfit, which features a canvas bag, costs 700 atoms. In the past, players have been willing to forgive Bethesda for their buggy titles, as it's much easier to fix a problem and not lose any progress in the context of a single-player game. But after the bug-riddled and horrendous performance of Fallout 76 and all of the not just shady but illegal business practices, Bethesda has lost a lot of goodwill with the community. Personally, I have gone from being excited about future BGS titles to being extremely concerned. I am worried that they will try to further monetize single-player experiences through crappy Creation Club releases. It's time for Bethesda to focus on what they're good at. Give the players a single-player open-world role-playing game. Give the players deep character customization mechanics such as attributes, skills, and perks to define their character in unique and interesting ways through multiple playthroughs. Make the world expansive and full of rich lore, characters, factions, and stories. Keep the next title free of microtransactions, and if there has to be Creation Club content, make it the content I mentioned earlier. Not a $5 sword, but a $5 mini expansion. Keep modding open and release the Creation Kit equivalent when the next title releases, not a year later. The modding community is what has kept Bethesda games alive for all these years, and I would not have played nearly as much as I have without mods. If multiplayer has to be a thing, make it the multiplayer I've talked with friends about for years. Join a friend as they embark on their single-player questline, 2 to 4 player drop-in co-op, maybe a simple dual mechanic. If the next BGS title follows some of the suggestions I've made, I think they can restore a lot of the goodwill they've lost. But if they continue down the road of Fallout 76 with shady business practices and crappy microtransactions, I don't know how much longer I'll be a fan.